We know this ain't right.
Man, this can't be life.
We gotta unite.
Bill 1014.
Be Frankie.
Yeah, I'm striving for greatness, trying to make it out. We're stuck in the matrix. Yeah, I'm striving for greatness, trying to make it out. We're stuck in the matrix. Yeah, I'm striving for greatness, trying to make it out. We're stuck in the matrix. Yeah, I'm striving for greatness, trying to make it out. We're stuck in the matrix.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy B-Dell. If you're new to this channel, hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell. But today I'm going to give an elaborate breakdown on the galactical revelations of the Anunnaki that perpetuates a new heaven and new earth from the frequencies of the three suns called Utu, Apsu, and Shamish. So ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, get your notes out. We have a lot of information to cover tonight because it's all based on eschatology, which is the science of the end times, right? And the science of the end times is based on the Great Atonement, and the Great Atonement is the Great Purification, and the Great Purification is the precursor to the seven thunders, right? So when you look at that right here is the three suns that is in the 19th galaxy that is amalgamated with the Orion star constellation. So that's why when you go to this passage right here, it tells you that heaven is in the Orion, right? Orion is a star constellation. So this is all acclimated to theological context for people who like to propagate biblical context, right? So with that being said, that's why you get the term seventh heavens, because in the Orion star constellation amalgamated with Elihum, which is the 19th galaxy, which is the foundation of the heavens, this is where you get the term seventh heaven, because there's seven star systems within that 19th galaxy. So when you go to Sumerian mythology, you got the tri-solar system. You got a red sun, a blue sun, and a yellow sun. Now the blue sun is activated by a quark star energy, meaning that it has the same capabilities as a hadron collider. And it has the same capabilities as a hadron collider because it's able to manipulate the fragment of time by taking you into the space-time continuum. So these three suns contain a tetrahedron energy that has a tetrahedral radiation. And that tetrahedral radiation has the ability to dematerialize the ley line grid system that keeps you encapsulated inside the fermented dome of the matrix system, right? So you cannot have a fermented dome when you have the interlocking of dimensions amalgamating with the third dimension, because that's why you go to this passage here in the Bible, right? When you go right here, this is your foundation of a great reset. When you go to Revelation 21, right? It says, then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no longer any sea, right? So that's why when you look at the symbology of the Aquarian symbol, right, he is pouring down cosmic energy, and that cosmic energy has the ability to reverse the magnetic pole shift, right? So this is what you're talking about, the new heaven and new earth, because I told you, you know, those three suns contain a tetrahedron energy, right? So this is not a coincidence, you know what I'm saying? Even though it's acclimated to Sumerian mythology, you know, this is why the scientists and, you know, and all these astronomers, they said that they found a new alien planet with three suns. So this is a real, you know, concept that's being taken place on the planet that's activated by prophetic divination, right? Because they know that the prophecies is acclimated to, you know, uh, these astronomical tales that's being propagated all throughout the Sumerian tablets, the holy tablets that was written by Dr. Malachi Z. York, the Sumerian tablets, things of that nature. So now, when you talking about the tetrahedron energy of the three suns, because I told you the three suns has the ability to spark the great atonement, and the great atonement is the great purification, which is the precursor to the 7-year tribulation. So these three stars, the three suns has a star tetrahedron energy. So it tells you right here verbatim that the star tetrahedron is composed of two equal dual tetrahedrons together, one facing upwards, one facing downwards. So that is basically the symbology of a flipping of the magnetic pole shift, the opposing forces of a negative energy and a positive energy that goes against the polarity of the three-dimensional paradigm that keeps you stuck in the third density state, right? So it contains within the geometrics of the cube and the octahedron and the tetrahedron. The tetrahedron is an energetic geometric representation of the human body. So that is basically the unification of the divine feminine and the divine masculine, because the man is the foundation of the heaven and the woman, Mother Earth, is the symbology of planet Earth. So when you have the man and the woman amalgamating together, that is your unification of a new heaven and a new earth, because they know that the unity consciousness of the man and the woman has the ability to manipulate the grid system to where these new energies come down to the planet and activate the sons of Ethereum of green light. When you're talking about the Sufi order of the spirit of Melchizedek, right? So it tells you right here that also the Merkaba, right? Merkaba, which is an Egyptian word or Kemetic word. Mer is translated into light. Ka is basically a representation of the spirit body, and Ba refers to the body or the physical being that's encapsulated with the that basically the soul is encapsulated inside that physical vessel, right? So your physical body is the Merkaba light ship for you to activate the cosmic keys for you to infiltrate the dome system. So that's why I'm talking about the new heaven and new earth. Unity consciousness is how you reverse the polarity of the negative frequencies that's being perpetuated by the draconian system, right? Now, moving on. It tells you right here that the human Merkaba field, which is the magnetic field of the body, is a spinning star of a tetrahedron. It is commonly believed that the Merkaba is a representation of different energy systems in the shape of upper dimensions. The geometric shape holds a level of consciousness that will help you connect to the fifth dimensional unity consciousness. Because I told you the fifth dimension is a personification of the 19th galaxy. 19th galaxy is where you have Ilihun, where planet Rizq is, which is also synonymous to the Orion star constellation. New heaven and new earth, merging the unity consciousness. So that's how you basically dematerialize this matrix system. So the star tetrahedron is a powerful and amazing tool, especially during the days of transitions and shift. We're going through a shifting process. We're going through a metamorphic shift, right? And this is why you see these air quality alerts on the weather systems when you're talking about your phones, when you get these alerts. The air quality alerts is this pure cosmic energy that's basically manipulating the atmospheric realm, because we're going through a metamorphic shift. Because I told you the tetrahedron energy has a tetraangular radiation that is emitting from the three suns, right? So it tells you right here, it says these days and the transitions and the shift, and it can help the connection between the Ethereum and the physical bodies, and also a constant reminder to remember our divine, loving, and true nature, meaning that you got to be tapped into your purpose in order to reap the benefits of ascension, right? Now, we're going to go scoot back a little bit because I need to tell you more about these suns, right? Now, because like I said, we freestyling. You know what I'm saying? Because I just put something together and we go off the top of the head and we just, we make it make sense at the same time. So when you go to Dr. Malachi Z. York's book called The Man from Planet Rizq, it tells you that, I ain't even got it on the right thing. When you go to The Man from Planet Rizq that was created by Dr. Malachi Z. York, it tells you about the three suns. Now, these three suns, like I told you, it's in the 19th galaxy. The 19 is basically personification of Alpha and Omega, beginning and the end. So it's not a coincidence that Elihu, which is a star constellation of planet Rizq, amalgamated with Orion star constellation, tells you in the Holy Quran that Elihu is inside the Holy Quran 19 times, because that's where you get the term Elihu or Elion or alien, right? Because these alien beings, these galactical beings, are merging into dimensions to basically upgrade the genetical shift of the planet in the state of consciousness, right? Because that's what the energy of the solar transmission does. Through light code transmission, it activates the neural synapses of humans, which is also connected to the epigenetic strands of that person when you're talking about the activation of the Bathari gland, right? Because when you break down the suffix of the word Bathari or Bara, it means to take you to a different space and time. I already broke that down. Now, these three suns are basically in different directions that forms a tetrahedron energy around Rizq, right? Which is basically your personification of the heavens, right? And it contains an energy field, and that energy field basically increases the influx of energy on planet Earth to where it basically breaks down the Ethereum state of third density and it upgrades it to a fifth dimensional state of consciousness through a krypton energy, right? Now, so it tells you right here, like I said, the heavens have a tri-solar system. So in order to spark this great awakening, in order to spark the great tribulation, the 7-year tribulation, in order to spark the, the harbinger of destruction and judgment on the planet, it's all being activated by these three suns. So like I said, this is all connected to Hopi mythology. This is all connected to the red and the blue star Kachina, right? So this is not a coincidence that when you go inside the Grand Canyon, that they had cuneiform language inside the Grand Canyon, which is a form of hieroglyphic Sumerian context, right? Because like I said, all these mythologies is connected to the story of the Anunnaki, right? Now, so there's going to be a time period on planet Earth around the year of 2025. When you break down the numerical spectrum of 2025, you get 2, 0, plus 2, plus 5, which equates to 9, which is the activation of the non-Ethereal energy that's connected to the etheric state of who you are as a genetical human being on this planet, where you transmute yourself into the spirit of Melchizedek, which is under the green Ethereal energy. So that's why it's important and imperative to understand that on 2025, right, which is the symbology of the 9-year, you're going to have three suns in our solar system. And these three suns is going to come to our planet, and it's going to basically upgrade the genetical shift of the planet. It's going to put the planet in a state of a high vibrational state. In a high vibrational state, meaning that it's going to be a bright day on planet Earth, meaning that it's going to be intrinsic solar radiation hitting the planet for 3 days straight. It's not going to be any type of sunlight. So that's why it's imperative for everybody to understand that you have to upgrade your vessel in order to embark the genetical shift that's going to be taking place on the planet, because as the planet is going through a metamorphic state, your body has to go through a metamorphic state. So by 2025, it's going to be a time on planet Earth. It's going to be pure intrinsic solar radiation, sunlight, for 3 days straight. It's not going to be no sunlight or none of that, because that's what the sun cycle is based on. It's based on the destruction of the lunar light locking that kept you under the sleep spell, right? So that's why it tells you right here that the three suns is going to come down just like in the heavens, because they have a ritual that they do in the Anunnaki, these Rizqians. Like I said, they have these they have a time period where they don't eat or anything during the time of those 3 days of intrinsic solar radiation. You're not supposed to be eating anything because you're supposed to be upgrading your vessel into an etheric state, right? So with that being said, like I said, these three suns is basically your personification of the reversal of the pole shift when you're talking about you're coming out of the 24,000 year purification period of the equinox, of the precession of the equinox. Now, what you got to understand is that you got the red sun, right, which is all acclimated to the 7 energy cortexes when you're talking about the endocrine system, because like I said, your energetic morphic field is connected to these suns, and your energetic morphic field contains a visible light spectrum that connects you to the interlocking of the higher dimensions, right? So you got the red, which is basically the personification of desire and evil, which is also kind of, like I said, is based on the great purification, because UV radiation is a detoxifier, right? Then you got the blue sun, which reflects a highly spiritual mood and virtuous qualities of man, such as devotion, faith, different levels of consciousness, right? Then you got yellow, that basically reflects intellect, a total state of consciousness when you're talking about the intellect within the person that's connected to the etherian energetic higher self of who you are, which is synonymous to the green, right? And the green is basically the divine mood, and green is a combination of moods that is amalgamated with the color blue and yellow, which reflects is reflected from the heavens, which is the mental plane. Because like I said, third density is basically the emotional plane, right? Because it's all based on polarity. Because nothing on this planet, you know what I'm saying, the three-dimensional state of consciousness, it doesn't make any sense. Everything is based on injustice. There's no such thing as equality. So in the mental plane, everything is based on equality, because equality is basically deviated from the state of animism, right? Now, so this is why it's important to understand that you're going to have an opening of the vortex around August 12th, right? And around August 12th, that's when you're going to have these new energies. It's going to be an energy shift on the planet. And that energy shift is basically connecting you to the biorhythm in the Earth's magnetic field, which is acclimated to the Schumann resonance spike, which is basically the heartbeat of planet Earth. So your heart and your mind has to be in sync with planet Earth as the planet is going through the metamorphic state, because on August 12th of 2023, so on and so forth, what's going to happen is you're going to have that open vortex. Is basically going to cause an activation to the planet, right? So this is pure cosmic energy coming from the Orion star constellation, which is basically 3,600 years from planet Earth. When you get 3 plus 6, you get 9. So like I said, 9 is a symbology of completion, right? We're going to come back to this right here. Now, we're going to come back to this. So that's not needed right now. Now, as I was saying before, a new heaven and a new earth is not only connected to, planetary systems, right? It's not only acclimated to cosmology and things of that nature. It's also talking about the unification of the centripetal and the centrifugal forces, right? Which is pulling and pushing different energies. You have a negative energy amalgamating with a positive energy, which creates a unification of a energetic shift on the planet when you're talking about unity consciousness. Because when you're talking about this Z right here, which is the symbology of an awakening, right? So when you go to when you break down the word zombie and cuneiform, you get Amen, and Amen is acclimated to the context of an awakening. So you're talking about a zombie apocalypse, you're talking about an awakening process of people who are in a sleep state under the lunar cycle. So when you're under the sleep state of the lunar cycle, that puts you in a negative vibratory state to where you reap the negative benefits of the lunar light liking energy, right? Which is basically the symbology of the silver key. So like I said, the unification of the man, which is the heavens force, and the unification of the woman, which is the earth force, which is why they call it Mother Earth, Mother Nature. When you have the two amalgamated together, that would basically raise up the unity consciousness and speed up the process in the magnetic field of the planet to where you merge in the third dimension with the fifth dimension, which is connected to a new heaven and a new earth. So in order to reap the benefits of that, we all have to raise up our consciousness, right? So it's not just based on one of those things where you waiting for, Planet Nibiru and Planet X and to upgrade the genetical shift of the planet, we have to do it as well. You know what I'm saying? We have to raise up our mental vibration in order to tap into these energies to where we can get into the new earth, right? So this is what during that time period, you're going to have a great separation. So everybody is not going to make it. Just because you got carbon, just because you got melanin, doesn't mean that you're going to make it to the higher dimensions, because a lot of you are in a low vibrational state because you're connected to the beast system. When you're talking about the financial system, when you're talking about these religious systems, you have an encryption over your neurological faculties and you have an encryption over your physical vessel because you're connected to the material world, which is connected to the moon. And then when you have the moon fall due to the solar transmission that's hitting the planet, right? That's where you're going to fall when the system falls, right? Because it's all under patriarchy. So now, like I said, this is why you're starting to get air quality alerts. These air quality alerts, because I told you, a tetrahedron energy has a tetraangular radiation, and tetraangular radiation has the ability to manipulate the grid system, where you get these so-called EMP attacks, when really these are Ethereum frequencies that is basically an influx of energy, which is a coronal mass ejection, right? So this is why the World Economic Forum put out a global risk report in 2023 talking about the limitations of global warming above pre-industrial levels, right? So they scared because they know that this chaos and in all these things, that the afflictions that's going to be taking place on the planet, and it's going to be a disruptive period during these cycles, because we're going through a transitional period, and they know that their time is up, right? So it tells you right here that the World Economic Forum portrays a near future blighted by low economic growth, reduced international cooperation, and a series of compromises damaging to both climate action and societal development, right? So it's talking about the deglobalization, declining of living standards, the vanishing window of global change, geopolitical confrontation, talking about inflation, trade of war. So you're talking about spiritual warfare that's taking place. Spiritual warfare that's acclimated to the three-dimensional paradigm, because, like I said, the principles of nature supersedes the principles of mankind, because mankind is a kind of a man that doesn't have any type of sustainability on this planet, because they don't have the genetical faculties to survive the shift, right? So this is why you're starting to see California expect to cook under large heat dome, right? So this is why it's telling you right here, the planet is upgrading. Everything's speeding up in vibration. When you have these heat waves, everything is speeding up in vibration. That's what it's basically talking about. The Golden State's second heat wave of the summer, right? Now this is why they tell you America wants to block the sun, because they, like I said, this geographical landmass that we're talking about, America, is actually one of the oldest geographical landmasses on the planet. Because, like I told you before, this planetary, this geographical area was once connected to Atlantis, and Atlantis is basically predates Egypt, or whatever you want to call it, Kemet, because the Atlanteans are the ones who built the pyramids due to Pavlovian acoustics. We're going to get into that later. Now, so it's telling you right here that the NYT warns readers of our sun causing cancers, and you having cancer radiation. These are solar radiation, solar transmission that's in the planet. So now we're going back out of that. I'm gonna get back to that in a minute. So, like I said, it's not a coincidence that NASA warns of internet apocalypse that could disable the internet. Why is that? That's because you having all these heat alerts. These heat alerts are solar energies. These are the cosmic energies. I told you, look at the Aquarian age symbol. When he's pouring a picture of water over the planet Earth, that is pure cosmic radiation coming from the higher dimensions, the fifth dimension, 19th galaxy, planet Rizq, the Orion star constellation. These are the energies that's basically penetrating the grid system that's connected to the ley lines, that's tether connected to the quadrants of the moon. I'm gonna play this video.
Entire city. It's really hot out here. Orleans could set record highs the next 4 days, with the heat index approaching 120 degrees. I saw someone about 2 weeks ago had a heat stroke, a lady out here, so it's very hot. Was that scary to see firsthand? Yes, it was. The city's top priority, caring for the most vulnerable, opening at least 9 cooling centers and hydration stations. What is the precedent for this kind of a heat wave here?
Well, this is unprecedented. Extreme, excessive heats that we've never experienced before.
The fierce triple-digit temps, even impacting our furry friends who went running for cover and rendering our news crew camera unusable, frying in circuits by mid-morning.
The key thing is take it easy. Stay hydrated and choose your good senses about it.
But it's the smoke from the Canadian wildfires to our north that's now canvassing U.S. landmarks like the Mackinac Bridge in Michigan.
Like I said, that's a lie. That is a lie. That, like I said, that is tetraangular radiation that contains a tetrahedron energy from the 3 suns that's basically upgrading the genetical shift of the planet, which is causing an influx of energy and heat waves on the planet. So like I said, it's going to be a coming time, like I said, when these 3 suns align with planet Earth and come into our solar system, it's going to upgrade the planet and it's going to create a magnetic pole shift, right? That is connected to the 7 thunders under your 7-year tribulation. So this is why, like I said, an internet apocalypse, right? Where the internet is disabled because the internet is connected to the electrical grid and the electrical grid is connected to the ley lines and the ley lines is connected to the quadrants of the moon. I already broke that down when I was talking about the moon being a fake entity. It's a celestial megastructure and a direct energy weapon that controls the energy, frequency, and vibration of humans on the planet, right? In a 3-dimensional state. So like I said, the sleep spell in itself is under the energy of the internet, which is connected to all technological devices on the planet. So it's going to come a time where it's going to be 140 degrees. It's going to be 150 degrees. You know what I'm saying? Remember, I told you this.
People in Chicago, the worst air quality in the world. That smoke once again moving towards New York City. Extreme weather also tearing through Nebraska. Look at that. In Wyoming, 6 reported twisters. Indiana also taking a direct hit.
I got to watch all my pork furniture go.
But when the heat is,
like I said, the heat is the foundation of your 7 thunders. That's going to be the precursor of it, right? I got to find it. Where's the video? I think I deleted it. Let me find it. Now, like I said, these 3 suns has the ability to activate the 7 thunders, right? When you're talking about floods, lightning storms, tornadoes, landslides, hurricanes, hail in the summer, right? We've been getting that. Forest fire, the so-called forest fires. You know, children killing children, children letting their parents and rampant insanity and murders. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the 6th seal, which is under the 6th thunder, right? So this is the harbinger of destruction. This is the great purification. This is the great awakening. And the great awakening is your 7-year tribulation period from 2023 to 2030, right? Because I told you on August 12th of this year, from August 12th all the way to August 18th, like I said in my last video, that is the open vortex when you have these new energies coming in. So that's why Travis Scott is trying to combat the energy. When you talk, I'm going to break that down in a minute. We're going to get to him. Now, you got the 6th thunder, which occurs of the star people return, signs in the skies, new planets, new galaxy, meteorite storms, climate alterations. When you're talking about these air alert signs that you've been getting on your phone, global warming, spiritual revivals, presence of the divine, and then you got the respect and the present of the world governments and things of that nature. And then, like I said, you also have the 7th thunder, which is the end of the world as you know it. So this is where you're talking about Agenda 2030, because 2030 is actually the symbology of the Ethiopian calendar of the year 2022, right? which is also the year of the serpent. And the year of the serpent is the serpentine energy, to where you raise your kundalini energy to where you activate the higher states of consciousness that puts you in a state of heaven on the mental level. Because I told you the fifth dimension, the 19th galaxy, is a personification of the mental plane, right? So meaning that your neurological faculties have to be in sync with the biorhythm of the planet in order to reap the benefits of ascension on this planet. You can't be acclimated to your emotions, because your emotions is going to deceive you every time. A person would tell you that the sky is purple if the color green hurts their feelings, right? Or if the color blue hurts their feelings. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what emotionalism does. It puts you out of alignment with rationality and logic. And that rationality and logic is connected to the mental state, which is the heaven, right? Now, so this is why, you know what I'm saying, everything is upgrading on the planet. So this is why, shout out to Conscious Joe's for putting this video out. And that's why I tell you up the top where it says that Americans, you know, some of them will die, you know, a great majority of them at least. That's why Deagle put out that publication in the CIA. They said that at least 75% of the people in the geographical landmass of America, at least 75% of the population will basically be destroyed, right? So that's why it tells you that 75 million dead Americans.
Could you just give me an idea, ballpark, how many millions do you think will die, and what's the time window? Just a ballpark.
Well, by their own estimate, they're looking for 700 million people globally, and that would put the U.S. Participation in that certainly as a pro rata of injected population, somewhere between 75 and 100 million people.
That's in the USA, or that's the world?
No, that's in the United States, somewhere between 75 million and 100 million people.
And what's the time frame that they'll die in?
Well, there's a lot of economic reasons why people hope that it's between now and 2028. Not the least of their concerns is that by 2028, we have a tiny little glitch on the horizon, which is the illiquidity of the Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid programs. So the fewer people who are recipients of Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, the better.
So this is your so-called rapture, what he's talking about. That's not what he's talking about, you know, from a spiritual level, but from a mundane, trivial concept, right? That is what you're talking about, your rapture. So for those who think that it was a conspiracy, I'm gonna upload this video. This is coming verbatim from Kamala Harris.
About the impact on something like public health. When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
So like I said, this is all, see, eugenics, you know, all this stuff is connected to genetical self-preservation, because the cursed bloodline, they're trying to preserve their bloodline to survive the shift. So this is why eugenics is connected to everything that's taking place when you're talking about the metamorphic shift. So this is why, you know, a lot of, you know, so-called melanated women, right, carbonated women, a lot of you have to be on your P's and Q's. A lot of you are going to come up missing because they need your divinity in order to survive the shift, right? They trying to preserve their bloodline in order to reap the benefits and going into the higher dimensions when the planet is going through a metamorphic state, right? So like I said, that's why she said a lot of people, they have to kill a lot of people off, because they need the divinity of people who are in a low vibrational state, right? That's why, like I said, they supplicate your emotions and they transmute it into a weakness. So when you're in a state of weakness, you don't know who you are genetically. When you don't know who you are genetically, this is where the government can exploitate you in a form of eugenics, to where they can kill you off in the form of the population. So when they kill you off, oh, now we can take their plasma. Now we can take their stem cells. Now we can take, you know, all these things that's connected to the ship, because they know that the dematerialization through the World Economic Forum, you're going to have a pole ship that's basically going to deplete the grid system or the ley lines and things of that nature. But I'm going to go back.
When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
And they clap like some idiots. Kamala Harris, ladies and gentlemen. You see what I'm saying? So like I said, now, this is why, like I said, the upgrading of the genetical shift of the planet, right? Now, this is why the Wealth put out a documentation talking about scientists believe aliens could contact Earth by 2029. That's because they know. I'm going to show you the video by Dr. York when he was breaking down when you're talking about the 1,000-year rapture, right? When you have these beings that's going to come back and get the chosen ones. So it tells you, now there's many different ways you can look at it. You're going to have beings that come from outside of the dome. When you're talking about outside of the ice wall, you're going to have beings that come from inner Earth, out of the ocean, and you're going to have beings coming from different planetary systems. So like I said, I don't believe, you know what I'm saying, that the Earth is flat, but I believe the Earth is a lot bigger than what they tell us. So like I said, there's many different fifth dimensional civilizations that's beyond the ice wall, right? Beyond the firmament, beyond the dome, right? And these, you know, these are what you call your extraterrestrials, because like I said, they know that they cannot hide this information, because when you're encased inside of a dome, it's basically encasing you from the truth. So when the veil is lifted, right? When the veil is lifted, when the grid system is depleted, when the firmament is depleted, when the ley lines and everything is basically being destroyed, this is where you're going to see your so-called cosmic cousins, your cosmic brothers and sisters, your ancestors, right? To where you reap the benefits of a fifth dimensional civilization, amalgamating with it, right? So this is why, let me see. You know, I got this picture. I put it out not too long ago on my Instagram. So when you look at this picture, it shows you that there is a fifth dimensional civilization outside and beyond the ice walls, right? Which is not a coincidence, right? Because like I said, these fifth dimensional civilizations they don't have the same atmospheric realm that we do. They have an omicron-based atmosphere, and that omicron radiation has intrinsic solar radiation, and that intrinsic solar radiation has the ability to create an influx of energy to where it basically makes everything grow at an extensive state. So people beyond the ice wall, they're a lot more taller. The animals are a lot more bigger. You know what I'm saying? It's many different things that we're not subjected to as we're encased inside of this dome. You know what I'm saying? So these are, when you're looking at these civilizations right here, these are extraterrestrials that's beyond the ice wall and outside the fermented dome. But like I said, the veil is being lifted because when you have the reversal of the magnetic pole shift, you're going to have the dematerialization of the polar ice caps, which will basically increase sea level at 2,500 feet at least. You know what I'm saying? All around the planet. So that's why I said the three suns has the ability to activate the seven thunders, as I read before. So this is where, you know, your great reset is going to take place. So it's not a coincidence that you have world maps. I already did a breakdown of the worlds beyond the ice walls. I already broke that down. There's a video on my page. You got to go through my videos and things of that nature. But I already broke this down. So you got, you know, maps talking about, you know, different fifth dimensional geographical land masses beyond the ice wall. So like I said, you see yourself right here encased inside of a ley line grid system dome, right? Now, like I said, you know, once the dome is depleted, one thing you got to understand about the grid system is connected to the ley lines that's connected to your hands, which is why you have an M on your hand, which is symbology of a matrix, because the M, right, the ley lines on the hand is connected to the ley lines on the planet, which is connected to the planetary grid system. And that planetary grid system is the matrix system that keeps you outside of yourself to where you reap the benefits, the negative benefits of external stimulation that's based on material. So this is how they keep you here. They keep you here based on the materialistic principles to where you cannot activate the Bathari gland because, like I said, your Bathari gland is connected to your higher senses that's connected to the higher dimensions, right? Which is also activated by the blue star, as I was saying, because the blue star, right, has a quark star energy that basically takes you to a different space and time. When you look at the word bara in the cuneiform language, it means a different space and time. So this is where you get your activation that's connected to the hippocampus layer of the brain. So that's why, you know, I'm not going to say it on here, but I said in a different on a different broadcast that's going to be on my website and things of that nature. So it's not a coincidence that all these things is taking place, right? So you have the UV radiation light spectrum, which is an ultraviolet light, and it's basically based on UVC, UVB, UVA radiations, right? So it's not a coincidence that you got the blue, right, which is the highest frequency. Then you got the yellow and you got the red, because like I said, the red sun is the foundation of a detoxifier, which is basically your so-called great purification. So you're going to have these new energies hitting the planet. So now, as I was talking about Travis Scott, what you got to understand is that it's not a coincidence that Travis Scott is trying to have his album release party called Utopia, because he knows that, well, the elite, the plutocracy who control the music industry, they know that this utopia is connected to the planetary alignments that basically causes a great reset that's activated by the three suns, right? So it's not a coincidence that you have these three suns, these three pyramids, the pyramids of Giza, that's connected to the Orion star constellation, which is the 19th galaxy. Now, what you understand is that pyramids evoke a certain energy that has the ability to manipulate the Earth's magnetic field, which has the ability to open up portals to where you can escape the fermented dome that keeps you encased inside, you know, this matrix system. So one thing you got to understand is that, you know, the plutocracy, they know that these new energies is coming in, so they using Travis Scott as a form of frequency asymmetrical warfare, because that's what spiritual warfare is based on. It's based on energetic warfare, and it's based on frequency warfare, right? It's a battle of frequencies, because they know that the octave frequencies of trap music or rap music keeps you in a low vibrational state that has the same energy as a heart machine, because the heart machine has the ability to manipulate the weather. It has the ability to manipulate the neural synapses of humanity, and it also has the ability to manipulate the energetic frequency of the soul of humans on this planet to where they're connected to the ley line grid system. So they want to keep you here. So they using the negative frequencies of his music, right? Because what you got to understand is that these frequencies contain a form of ionization. Negative frequencies of trap music contain a form of ionization that basically closes up the portals that's in the firmament, because they trying to keep out these cosmic energies. So they using Travis Scott as a vessel to perpetuate, you know, this frequency warfare. So due to the ionization of the negative frequencies, it has an avalanche effect, which is basically the electrical field that's connected to the visualization process of the negative ions, which is basically negative charged subatomic particles that basically is known as a electron capture ionization. So like I said, the capture is to keep you captured inside of this dome, because they don't want you to leave it. So that's why when you look at the anode and the electrical field in the cathode, right, it's basically a form of a net. So now this is why when you go to Sumerian mythology, right, it tells you right here verbatim that planet X, this is marked by the crossing of the Nibiru. Marduk used a weapon known in the Sumerian tablets, right, which is known as the net, and the net is connected to the subatomic particles of the ionization that's connected to the magneto-hydrodynamic Cassini gaps on the ring of Saturn, which is a holographic projection of the moon, right, that basically works in symbiotic connection with the net of Indria. So that net system, right, is the ionization of charged particles. So you're looking at frequency warfare that's taking place on the planet. So like I said, ions, you know what I'm saying, has the ability to capture energy. They want to capture the etherian energy to where you cannot leave this system, right? Because they know that the tetrahedrons and the tetraangular radiation is being upgraded by the three suns, and the three suns is basically dematerializing the grid. So like I said, this is all frequency warfare. So don't, think this is something that's, revolutionary and he's going, no. They're using him as a vessel for frequency warfare, which is not a coincidence, because they're using him as a vessel because they know that he has the ability to manipulate humanity on a spiritual level, because he's able to absorb everybody's energy, just like he did it at that last concert. And when you had that sacrifice that he had at his last big old show, right? Now, so with that being said, like I said, all this stuff is connected to prophetic divination. Pay attention to nature. Pay attention to the birds. Pay attention to everything. You know what I'm saying? This is, somewhere in it's nighttime and you have the birds out, right? Pay attention to nature. Pay attention to the military, because that's how you know that there's going to be mass calamity that's going to be taking place on a planet that is activated by the seven thunders, which is connected to the energy of the tetrahedron energy of the three suns. Everything is speeding up in vibration. Humanity, nature, the planet. Now, with that being said, I'm going to play this video by Dr. Malachi Z. York, right? He's going to put everything I said in perspective. This is my master teacher. So, you know what I'm saying? Get your notes out, because he's going to break down a lot of stuff that's connected to biblical context, theological context. For those of you who are stuck in monotheistic religion, he's going to bring it out of you. He's going to bring it out to where you can deviate from that psychological construct to where you can reap the benefits of the real information, right? When you're talking about these are extraterrestrials and things of that nature, and the ascension and the rapture and things of that nature. So I'm going to play the video.
See about a certain point in the history of the Bible where supernatural beings, as they're called, came down to earth and went into women and gave birth to special children. And these people mixed them up with children of earth. And a lot of them are thought to be crazy and derelict because they just cannot adjust. Now that man is on this new evolutionary stage of consciousness, those beings are thought to be nuts. And it's sad. When you read it, it says, Genesis chapter 6, and it came to pass when man began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the Son of God saw the daughters of man, that they were fair. And it took them wives of all whom they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit will not always strive with men, when he is but flesh, and his days shall be 120. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, what happened? The sons of God came in under the burden of the head, and they bore them what? Children, right? They bore children to them. The same became mighty men. That's what of the men of renown. The third from the Quran is Anunnaki, the ancients of days. Or the 14 elders who came down and put them. So there are men working the earth who are sons of God. Women and men. And they are thought to be nuts because they cannot adjust to this system. They cannot adjust to this society. You understand? The Bible is teaching this. Now, if you want to call me crazy, I don't mind. I'm in good company. But a lot of people have never been told about this section in the Bible, right in Genesis, where it tells you that certain beings from heaven came down and mingled amongst women. The same way the angel Gabriel came down and mingled with Mary and gave birth to Jesus. Well, these beings have the same powers of Jesus. They're Christ-like, but they don't know it. But they've been living amongst mortals so long that they have lost their destiny. And we are here to claim them. They are our being. They must be taken home. We claim them, but we can't because they're so scattered and lost, and they're so afraid of us. They won't sit with us. They'll sit with men. They sup with men. They are putting information out because it'll stimulate certain senses in them that'll make them realize that they belong here. Then they'll be taught, and they'll make the transition out of here. But man on earth is about to destroy himself. And it's sad that you sons of Adam are going to suffer while this demon destroys the world that you live in, unless you garb yourself in white and learn to be amongst the 144,000 so that you can be taken up for 1,000 years to be groomed while the devil is cast into the lower part of the earth for 1,000 years, and then you come back to a new earth. You want to read about it? Open your Bible to Revelation. Revelation 21. It says, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, the New Jerusalem, this that mothership. I'm not talking about the small motherships that have ships that come around that they see. The big one is called the Crystal City. Mentioned in this Quran and the Torah. And here it is right in the Bible. Called the New Jerusalem. And I, John, saw the holy city. We call it Dar Islam in the Quran. The abode of peace. I, John, saw the holy city, the New Jerusalem, doing what? Coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. That means the ship is ready for all of those down in the light, in the garb of righteousness, to be taken. And I heard a great voice out of heaven crying, behold, the tabernacle of God. Look at the tabernacle of God. It's with man, and he will dwell with them. They will be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. That's why I told you don't fear. And there shall be no more death, because you have eternal life. We do not die in our bones. We've surpassed death. Well, I say I was around 76 years. The ability to incarnate is something that you'll learn too. We don't have death. Neither do we have sorrow nor crying. Neither shall there be any more pain. We don't suffer sicknesses or diseases. For the former things, all wickedness and sickness and disease will be passed away. Number 5. And he that sat upon the throne said, behold, I make all things one. No. And he said of me, right, that these words are true and faithful. He wanted John to write this stuff down and put a meaning to you. And he said unto me, it is done. It's over. I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. I will give unto him that at first, at the fountains, at the word of life. That means those people who are thirsty, they will be quenched. 7. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his God, and he shall be my rest. Not son, like I said, he's the first of the stage of being Christian, Jew, Muslim, and then you move on if you're ready to become a son of God or a son of Allah. And in the Holy Quran, when it says Allah does not have any sons, it's using the word walid, not Evan. It means he did not conceive any children. Okay? Number 8. But the fearful, and that's why I told you don't fear because you won't make it. But the fearful and unbelieving, the devil, and the abominable people living in abomination, and the murderers, and the whoremongers, and the sorcerers with their astrology, and the idols with their idols, and the liars who lie about Allah, and the being that have their part in the lake, which is what? Burning with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. What is the second death? Meaning that once man dies, the Quran says that Allah will raise him to life again to be judged. Certain men will fade into eternal life, and others will be cast back into death. into hell. That's the second death. I repeat, once man dies, then he is raised to life again, the resurrection. Others will rise in the resurrection of eternal life, and others will be condemned back to death and hell. Number 9, and it came unto me one of the 7 angels, and y'all know what the 7 archangels are, which had the 7 vials, and the 7 last plagues, and talked to me, saying, come up hither, come up. I will show thee the bride, the Lamb's wife, talking about the city. So John, come up, I'm going to show you a glorious city. And he carried me away in the what? In the spirit. He carried me away in the spirit to a what? To a great and high mountain. And showed me what? Showed me that great city, that holy Jerusalem descending out of heaven from God. This is that ship that's above y'all. Believe me or not, I don't care. You'll find out anyway. Number 11, having the glory of God and her light was like unto a stone of presence, most precious, like a, it's called the crystal city, because like a stone, most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as water. And it had a road, great and high. And the city grows in a dome that has pillars in it. And it has 12 gates. And at the gates, 12 angels. Chapter 24. These are the cherubim to protect the gates, keep man from entering the city. And at the gates, 12 angels, and the names are written on them, which are the names of the 12 tribes of Israel. Each one of these angels symbolizes one of the tribes of Israel, which is backed up by Ezekiel 48, 31, and 34. You have time to read that later. On the east, 3 gates. On the north, 3 gates. On the south, 3 gates. And on the west, 3 gates. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations. They are describing a ship.
What I'm gonna start doing is, if whatever is conducive to the topic that I'm talking about, if I could find a video with the master teacher talking that's connected to what I'm talking about, I'm gonna start putting that at the end of the videos, just to give, supreme clarity and supreme transmission to the edification that I'm trying to bring to you guys. You know what I'm saying? Because what I do is, like I said, I use the science of circumology. I merge my information, right, due to my own independent research and my own interpretations. I use the new information amalgamated with Dr. Malachi Z. York's teachings. So that's how you get the unification of present day information and old information to where you tap into the future. So this is why a lot of stuff that's taking place, some people be like, well, oh, you said this and that took place. Like I said, due to my own independent research connected to Dr. York's teachings is helping me see things on a futuristic level, right? Or, things that's connected to prophetic divination and eschatology, which is the science of the end times. So with that being said, get this video out there because it's imperative to understand that you have to upgrade your physical vessel. You have to upgrade your mental state in order to upgrade with the planet. Because I told you, everything is based on unity consciousness. Because like I said, we are a microcosm of the macrocosm, meaning that the centripetal and the centrifugal, the unification of the divine feminine and the divine masculine merging together, which creates this concept of unity consciousness. And that unity consciousness is your so-called new heaven and a new earth, to where it starts the ascension process to where we can get up out of the matrix system, right? So like I said, it's not just based on the fact that we waiting for, these supreme beings and the planet to upgrade. We got to upgrade too. You know what I'm saying? We got to do the work. We got to do, the internal work in order to reap the benefits of ascension. That's why it tells you in all theological contexts that there's 144,000, right? And that 144,000 is just not subjected to a certain demographic when you're talking about people on a perceptional level. It's also talking about an upgrade of DNA. It's also talking about an upgrade on your neurological faculties that works on somatic frequencies, right? We are the 144,000. We are the chosen ones. But in order to be chosen, you got to be tapped in spiritually and you got to be tapped in mentally. So tapped in mentally and spiritually, that creates the balance of the Kemetic laws of Mayat, right? To where you operate at 0 point energy. So like I said, this is where, you know what I'm saying, all these things is going to be activated by the tetrahedron energy of the sun that has a tetraangular radiation. And that tetraangular radiation is basically that pure cosmic energy that's basically metamorphosizing the atmospheric realm that we living in. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please get this video out there. This is a very important video because a lot of things that's going to be taking place here pretty soon. So I told you from August 12th to August 18th, like I said in the last video, right? Watch that last video, because if you pay attention to all my videos, they're basically like an esoteric puzzle that leads up to more information that's connected to the past videos. So this, like I said, this is all like a galactical timeline. It's a galactical time clock that I'm working on, right? Because it all works in symbiotic connection to the modern day current events that's taking place right now on planet Earth. So with that being said, get your mind right, get your physical vessel right, you know, get your spirituality corrected, you know what I'm saying? Get everything, you know what I'm saying, balanced out. Because like I said, when these new energies start coming in, you're going to see that great separation. And when you have that great separation, a lot of people are going to be left behind. Your family members, your old loved ones, your exes, you know what I'm saying? Your old little sneaky links. You got to leave all that stuff in the past, because all those things are basically constructs of the matrix system to pull you right back. It's like a form of, it's like the same process of reincarnation in a physical state in third density. Like I said, these emotions is what's going to keep you here. You know what I'm saying? That emotionalism that you have for that family member that did you wrong, that emotionalism for that person, you know what I'm saying, that did you wrong in a relationship, right? So like I said, you got to be balanced, operating at 0 point energy to where you're not manipulated by duality. Because like I said before, duality is not reality. So you got to be laser focused mentally, operating at 0 point energy and using your emotions as a navigation system to escape the matrix. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. End of transmission.